Welcome to the South Texas Amateur Tour Podcast, The Power Hour, with your hosts, Travis Salkowski, Dustin Hassan, Casey Graham, Jason Bird, and Michael Germanuelian.
Good evening, South Texas Amateur Golf Tour. Welcome to the Tour Power Hour. I am MD. Welcome to the show. It is Tuesday. It is, September 19th. We are already more than halfway through the month. We have playoffs coming up and the season finale of summer season coming up very fast. But Tuesday, September 19th, 8 o'clock. Guys, really fun show for you tonight. We're going to be a little bit more skeleton crew. Travis is sick. So it'll be me and DH holding it down, but lots to talk about. Cedar roundup, talk about our winners, look at the new top 10, lots of changes in the top 10, talk about Olmos Basin PC Open coming up on the last weekend of September, stuff like that. Lots of good stuff, but before we dive into all of it, let's go ahead and bring in our boy, DH. DH, what's going on, buddy?
What is happening, South Texas Am Tour golfers? MD, what is better than talking golf on a Tuesday night than talking Cedar golf on a Tuesday night?
It's hard to beat. I mean, what a weekend at Cedar.
Listen, from the start of the day, we had great weather, right? It was cool. I got to Cedar. I typically pull into the second level at Cedar, and I rolled up into that second level, and the wind was whipping. It was a little cool, and for a moment there, I said, I should have brought a hoodie.
Scotty Williams. It's nice to talk about. It's nice to talk about Cedar when you win a cookie. That is correct.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, no, the weather, I mean, I got in at maybe like 6:30, 6:45, and it was, I'm like, okay, a little bit of breeze here. It's beautiful. It's going to be a nice day. Course, I mean, just driving in, I'm like, okay, the course looks really good.
Yeah.
And I mean, Cedar, I think that this was the most fun golf. I think one of the more challenging individual stroke play events, one of the more fun stroke play events, and just an overall one of the more fun weekends of golf from a scoring perspective, for good and bad, that we've seen. We'll talk a little bit more about it, but we have a really fun, if not horrifying, stat about scoring this weekend at Olmos.
Pretty scary.
But I mean, let's talk first. Let's talk a little bit about just course conditions. I don't think that courses look better.
Listen, as green as it was this late into the season, it was green. It was green in a lot of spots. There was a moment. We were on 18. I was playing. By the time we got to 18, it was just Jason Sandoval and myself. We had a WD in our group, and so we're on 18. And you know, if you know Cedar, you know 18. It's hard to hit that fairway. It's hard to keep one in the fairway. No matter how far left you hit it, it just seems to funnel down and to the right, to the cart path there. Well, Sandoval's hitting a nice baby draw all day, and he had a great drive on 18, maybe a 4-yard draw. I mean, baby draw, hits the center of the fairway, and up there, and his ball is in the center of the fairway still at Cedar. So goes to show you.
I watched. I just talking about 18. I took my draw like I normally do, played it, kind of slammed it into that hill up at the top and the side of the slope. I got up to mine. I'm 155 out, dead center, and I saw someone else in my group hit a shot with a big cut and land on the top of that hill, and we got up there, and they still held the fairway.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, that is a soft, like that's Cedar as soft as it can be.
Yep. Fairways are great. The greens, right? You know, let's be frank. You know, the greens weren't in the best condition last time we were around. Shout out to the maintenance crew. They rolled
great last time we were there. They just didn't look good. This time they looked great and rolled great.
They were fun. I thought they were great. We were able to put some of those pins. We were talking about it before we started the show, Andy. We were able to put those pins in some spots where we really weren't before. You know, that back pin location on number 6, the number 1 handicap hole as well. You know, I think adds a new dynamic. It's the number 1 hole. We haven't had a pin in the back of that green in quite a while. I thought that was excellent.
I mean, and there were some tough shots in there too. I mean, if you look at number 7 being where that pin was a tough little pin to get to, and you know, you add that on top of the fact that pins were tough. But for the first time in a long time, I'll be honest, I wasn't paying a lot of attention to where the blue tees and stuff like that were set. But from a first and champ flight perspective, the black tees were, I mean, that course was as tipped out as we have played it in a long time.
Yeah, it was. And I when we got to number 5, the first par 3 on the front 9, I started walking to the back to shoot it, and the tees weren't there. They were all the way up front. And when I saw the pin, it was playing like 152 or something. And when I saw the tee markers up on 5, I said, okay, we're going to be in for it on number 7. We're probably going to be in for it on 17. And didn't disappoint. I think 7 played 212,
212 or something like that, like
205 or something.
I mean, I wasn't as worried about, like, when we got up to 17, like I flew the green. But I wasn't nervous, or I wasn't really worried from hitting from that tee, because that green's so big, so wide open. It's not a terribly difficult tee shot. When I was in the middle of the fairway on 6, getting ready to hit my approach shot, and I'm looking at the boys in front of me on the back, I'm like, oh shit, that's a tight little window to hit that.
It really kind of makes that shoot that you hit through. It narrows that shoot that you hit through right there. I mean, I think it's great. The pin was all the way back left too. Really good pin location there. Yeah. So good ball hole.
Dude, I really liked the pin position on 9 too. Unless you pounded the ball and you could really have maybe a controllable iron, or you could put a high hybrid up. That pin tucked back behind, I mean, only maybe 6 paces behind that bunker.
So, MD, I played a lot of golf with you, right? I'm not a go for green on a par 5 and 2 kind of guy, right? I'm a layup. I'm a give me a wedge in my hand.
Position,
and, that's right. Well, on 18, I hit a bomb on 18 and just caught that speed slot, and it got down to the second area, that second, hit tier down there, and I only had 187 in. I don't know that I've ever had 187 in on number 9. And I'd be lying if I thought for a second, all right, just hit a little wedge down there and lay it up. And then you got it. But 187, you got to go for it. But you're right. That pin was tucked right behind that sand trap there. So I tried to just hoist a 5-iron up in the air. Caught it a little chunky, actually guarding it. But really good pin location there. It was a risk versus reward there, but great example of how you can be aggressive, maybe make eagle, but tough pin.
And I think the big thing, especially I think it's Cedar, is you have to go, if you're going to have a chance to score and compete in that event, you have to go do something on the front 9, because that back 9 is more survival than anything. I argue that back 9 can be one of the toughest stretches of holes that you're going to play on the trail in general. Going off, I mean, even just, off number 1's not terribly hard, but playing from the tips, okay, well, you want to get past that bunker and be in a position,
I love how you still call it number 1. I love that.
It's just never going to go out of my head.
The bottom of the hill will always be number 1.
It's always number 1. 10 being what it was. 11, I think, is always a tough hole, even with it being as short as it is. that green typically, like, especially when you put it in the back like they have it, it wants to go off the back of the green. Like, your ball just wants to go off the back. 12 is tricky as all get out. I mean, 13 plays super hard.
I just can't make par on number 12. I can't do it. It seems every time we play Cedar, I make bogey or worse. I just cannot make a par on that hole.
I made a pretty stupid bogey there. I hit my driver and I got it, and I, with a tight little draw on it, and it ran through the grass bunker. I ended up on top of the hill, on top of that bunker, grass bunker. I'm only 155 out or so. Ball was just below my feet, and I just left it out right into the bunker. Pitched it out of the bunker, and I probably had like 12 feet coming back up the hill, and I lipped it. But like my main, like, a lot of times I just try to run it to the front of the green on the left side, and I'm like, I'll just pitch up to wherever it is. Like, going at it can be tricky as all get out. But I think in general, I mean, I don't know if everyone out there is aware of it. Cedar is going to shut down at the end of this year to go through their renovations, a lot like Cedar, a lot like Riverside, almost stuff like that. So this was actually our last event at Cedar until 2025, which seems so far off, but it's not really that far off. But 2025 will be the first time we see Cedar again on the trail, on the tour. So that's going to be really cool. This was a fun event to finish on. Fun fact, Travis sent me this information prior to the show. The average score this weekend, and if you'll notice in my little caption thing here, Cedar did what Cedar does. The average score was a 95 at Cedar. That is across all 5 flights. The average score was 95. Between all of the players in the field, they totaled 8,602 shots.
And with an asterisk, that's of all the players who carded a score.
And that's of all the players.
4 players that did not card. So you can probably add a couple hundred more to that.
Reasonably,
that is
yes,
a crazy stat, MD.
Yeah, reasonably, there was close to 9,000 strokes to have been taken had we had everybody show up and finish a round, which is absolute insanity.
Really cool.
I mean, I'm sure we'll deep dive it later and figure out, but that probably has to be the highest average score from any tournament, I think, ever.
To think Cedar wasn't playing as tough as it could.
And I think that's the thing. We've talked about this before, and I've made the comment many times, which is I love Cedar. And I'll be honest, I said it to the group before we teed off. I was like, I like this golf course. I lived on this golf course. I know this golf course. And you look at, I mean, I'm sitting there looking at scores, man. Like I was only focused obviously on my flight. I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing. And so coming in, I had a couple of holes here and there that were kind of a grind, but for the most part, it was just fairway, hit the green, kind of just do what you need to do kind of thing. You know what that golf course is about, just know where you need to miss and that kind of thing. But when I looked at the scores, like looking at Champ Flight and looking at some of the names on the back side of the leaderboard for Champ Flight, looking at First Flight, looking at some of these flights and seeing some scores out there that were just completely irregular, not even at all something I'm used to seeing out of those flights. First Flight had a par skin on 18. I mean,
MD, you're right. The scores were atypical, and point in case, when was the last time Champ Flight gross wasn't under par as the winner?
I mean, big shout out to Jeremy Jaramillo with him shooting even. I was completely. I mean, and I didn't really dive into his score. So he actually, and you see, he kind of did the opposite kind of thing where he He was over par on the front 9. He played under par on the back 9, which is kind of the opposite. I mean, I made the turn at 1 under and finished 3 over, just had 4 bogeys on the backside. But, I mean, at no point was he under par in his round.
Yeah.
He was grinding to just get to par. And you look at some of these other guys, I mean, Casey Carnes finishing at +1, Dustin Weldon 2 over. You had a pretty good day, 76. Casey Graham and Zach Johnson, 5 over and 6 over. But then you start getting into like some of those names out there that you wouldn't expect are on the higher side of it. And that was the same thing looking at First Flight. I mean, you know, and that, I think that's why Cedar was such a good venue and a good place to have one of these last events. Because we'll see when we get into the top 10. Brad Gilbert. I was grinding all day. Still not sure how I shot 80, but Cedar was an awesome test.
Yeah, it is.
He definitely was grinding, but he made a lot of good shots. He made a lot of good recovery shots. He hit a couple of shots there that were just phenomenal, and he made some birdies down the stretch, which helped out too. Brad, I've got to play. I was talking to Brad and Trace about this weekend. I'm like, 2 years you guys have been playing on tour. I never played with you, and I have played with you now 2 of the last 3 events. But like, I love getting to play with playing with Brad Gilbert and him having a caddy.
It's great.
It makes it more intense for me.
Yeah.
Like it.
Yeah, you better bring it. Yeah, you better bring it.
Like, this dude's got a fucking caddy. I was like, I gotta be serious here right now. So yeah, we're not going to see Cedar now for at least a year and a half.
Ooh, farewell. Yep.
Year and a quarter.
It's interesting to think how that course is going to play, you know, when they're done with it. I mean, I can't even begin to fathom, you know,
and it gets me excited to see what our 2024 season looks like, because you think about how hard Cedar is, you think about the impact that it has on the individual golfer and the team when they have to play an event there. Cedar closes, Riverside comes back end of this year, and we'll see Riverside plenty next year.
Yes, we will.
All things point to that course being a little bit. I don't think it will be as necessarily as tough, but I still think it will be a tough course. I don't think it's going to be the same Riverside easy course that we know. But it's going to be interesting to see that dynamic out there and see who's able to kind of capitalize. That's why I like Cedar so much, is because it's one of those courses that, you know, it's not a guaranteed win for anybody out there. There's people that you think of. You go out to Brack, or you go out to you know, Mission, or you go out to, you know, one of those courses, and you're kind of like, okay, I know who my biggest competitors are out here. Cedar just kind of levels it. I'm gonna miss Cedar. Cedar is one of my favorite courses, so I'm a little disappointed in that.
I'm with you. I like Cedar. I like going out there. I like pulling off Kyle Seal Parkway into the Cedar Creek Drive, into the driveway there, pulling around the clubhouse. Something about that place. It's tough. It's a good test. I love that test, and I thoroughly enjoy anytime we play Cedar. So I'm gonna miss it next year, but you know, looking forward to coming back in 2025.
Yep. And well, speaking of you know, loving that drive in and you know, being on property, we'll talk about the winners here coming up, but I am excited to turn into Olmos and come down the drive, drive down past 9 and turn into the clubhouse. And there's nothing better than a 2-day event at Olmos. Everyone up on the deck watching you come in on 18, and that Sunday late, everyone's adding up points in their head and trying to figure out who's where and who's what. And we'll talk more about Olmos here as we go.
Number 18. So we were talking about this at Cedar. I can't remember who it was, but maybe we're talking in conjunction with the 9s. But, you know, at Olmos, I love having a finishing hole par 5. You know, number 18 par 5. You can go and get it if you need to. Really, you know, I think that is really cool.
I love that, just because it's you know, with Golf Genius and all that stuff, it's, you kind of know what you need to do there. And you know, if I'm on 17 and I know I got a birdie to win, par to have it and go to playoff or whatever, having the par 5 and not a terribly hard par 5, as long as you route it properly, it's a lot of fun. Like, that's going to be so much fun, and I'm super excited. We'll talk a little bit more about Olmos here, but before we do that, let's talk about our winners and our new top 10. Because I definitely think everyone here wants to hear a little bit about the winners. More importantly, people want to see the top 10. They want to see where we're at, and they want to know what they have to do, be in the top 3 to make the playoffs. Whatever their goal is going into Olmos, they'll have a very clear idea of what they need to do once this point list comes up. So let's talk about our winners. We'll start in fourth flight.
Let's do it.
We talked about.
Let's do it, MD. Yeah, we'll start on fourth flight. We'll start on the net side. We got one of Jermaine Bowen.
Jermaine Bowen we did not get a picture of Jermaine Bowen. But
okay, I didn't see one of Jermaine.
That being said, the man is on a pretty good streak. He's been winning some events. Here we go. I'm just going to do it like this.
We've been saying his name a lot during.
I'm just going to go ahead
this summer season.
I'm just going to go. I'm just going to grab another picture of him. I just have another.
That's great.
It's very weird. Like, out of context, if anyone were to go into my phone or into my iPad, I have so many pictures of random people. Or like if I have someone come on and do a guest kind of thing, like I have pictures of Casey Carnes all over and stuff like that. But Jermaine Bowen, not the picture of him from this weekend, but I mean, when you're winning cookies all the time, chances are I have
we've got a lot to choose from Jermaine.
We got a lot to choose from.
Cookies this season. He collected another one here at Cedar. He is rolling hot going into Olmos. So Jermaine Bowen, you have to watch out for him. He's feeling good. I have a feeling we're going to kind of continue to talk about him. PC Open going into the playoffs. Keep him on your radar. Jermaine Bowen, great job collecting another cookie there.
I have a feeling we're going to be bringing up his name again very soon.
Yep. So moving right along, gross winner, Bill Cohn. Bill Cohn, four shot victory there in fourth flight over Joe Workman. So, I'm sure looking at Golf Genius over the last few holes, kind of got a cushion there, able to hold it strong, hold it together there, those final few holes. And, that going to help you going into the PC Open. So good job there, Bill Cohn. Keep it up.
Yep.
One event left the summer season.
It is coming to an end pretty quick.
Yes.
And it's going to go off in a big way.
Moving right along into our third flight, we're going to talk about net. We've got a one-shot victory over Fred Zapata. Tim Price, -6 net, one-shot victory on the net side. That is a great photo there with a great cookie. Excellent
really
camera
cool
work there. Excellent camera work. Tim Price, good job there. One-shot victory over Fred Zapata. And on the gross side, another four-shot victory. Jason Barger over Willie Nichols. Willie Nichols, another top 2, always playing strong, but this is about Jason here. Jason played great. We were talking about him after the round. He was hanging in there. He had a great time. Good job there on the win. 4-shot victory over Willie Nichols there in third flight gross. Great job there, Jason.
Really good playing.
Yeah, excellent. Moving right along, we will talk second flight. We'll talk about net. Jonathan Harder. Jonathan Harder's another name we've been kind of talking about in the summer season, really even going back into the spring season. He's there. He's standing there with Chris Arnold. Jonathan on your left there in the light pink shirt. Chris Arnold on the darker red shirt there on the right. Chris had a 4-shot victory over Sean Wolf, leader of the Wolf Pack. So close there. We went out and watched him. He had his son Jackson on the bag for him. So really good there seeing the Wolves out there. But way to go, Chris, there on your right, Jonathan there on your left. Excellent victory there in second flight.
Yep, absolutely great playing by those guys.
And if you notice, MDI, if you put that picture back up, this is purely coincidental. But, if you notice the flights, the hat colors were all coordinated, right? Different colors.
Yes.
Second flight just so happens the winners of second flight are wearing, those reddish color shirts.
A version of red.
Go figure.
It's a very good call out.
Just thought I'd point that out. I don't know. I thought that was
I'll point that out. I like it.
We're rolling the first flight on the net side. Tim DeHoyas, big 5-shot victory there over Dakota Albers. There's Timmy there, looking fly as always there, putting green behind him there at Cedar. Great job there, Tim. Hope to see you keep up the momentum going into the PC Open at Olmos. Keep up the good play. But our gross winner right there on the left side of your screen, our boy MD, just continuing to roll there. +3 wins over Brad Gilbert, BG. BG hanging in there tough, but MD is just, I mean, he is playing great right now. So well-deserved.
Thank you.
You know, it's something that when you're on a roll, right, it's game seems easy. So just keep it up, MD. We hope to see keep representing the ambassadors like you do.
I am just trying to recreate the magic of Dustin Hassan last year.
Well, in spring season.
And I did want to show my pictures. I get every
looky there.
Ignore the messy house. I hadn't been home all day, but that I had told Emma that I had a cookie. I said, Emma, I want a cookie, and super excited. I always after every round, you know, if I get lucky enough to come home with a cookie, I send a picture of Emma with her cookie to Laura. But I got home, went into the house. Emma's taking a bath. I knock on. I say, "Hi, Emma." She goes, "Where's the cookie?" I'm like, this freaking kid doesn't give a shit about me.
That's great. How cute. Very good. Well, great job, MD. Keep up the good play, buddy.
Thanks, buddy.
And moving right along our chant flight on the net side, 1-shot victory over a group of people there on the left in red, Zach Johnson. I want to point out something real quick about Zach Johnson's round before I get into Jeremy. Jeremy there on the right, even par winning gross. Zach went on a string there on the back nine on number 15. He made deuce on 15. Short little par four, little dog leg right, drives it right up to the front. I asked him, did you drive the green, or he said, no, I drove a little short and just chipped it right in. Goes deuce 3 on 15-16, really kind of catapulted him up the leaderboard on the net side, gave him enough for the 1-shot victory over a few people there at 4 under on the net side. So great job there, Zach Johnson on the net side. That a way to kind of string it together on the back nine, kind of come out of nowhere and get that 1-shot victory.
Gotta love that.
But Jeremy Jaramillo, I mean, really good playing. Even par at Cedar. Cedar was, like we said, it was softer, it was greener, but it wasn't playing any easier really. Even par round out there, it was tipped out. A lot of dew on the ground in the morning. The wind kind of picked up in the afternoon. Yep. So it made for a tough day. And you had to string it together for 18 full holes, and Jeremy did that. And so, great job, Jeremy. Great job, Zach, representing Champ Flight. Congratulations to you all. Congratulations to all of our flight winners. Cedar was a test. You all succeeded that test, passed it with flying colors, and really great job. Great job.
Yep. Congrats to all of our winners from Cedar this past weekend. Now, let's talk about the top 10.
That's what they want to see, Andy.
That's what the people want to see. That's what we have been waiting for. We've seen some changes here, and let's look at the results. So here is your new top 10. We're going to start in the number 10 spot. Jason Bird. Jason Bird hangs on. I know he didn't have the weekend he wanted to.
Hanging tough. He's hanging tough.
He does hang in there, down 3 spots, but holds the number 10 position. So good job, Bird, hanging in there, staying in the top 10, going into the final. I mean, you really want to be in that top 10 heading into Olmos, into the PC Open. You're in the best position possible to try and get that one of those last 3 spots for the team.
It gives you a certain kind of boost, MD, when you see your name right there in this top. I mean, it gives just a little bit of momentum. It's and sometimes it's extra boost you need to kind of give you that confidence, believe in yourself, whatever it is. But you're right, MD. It's real. It's real.
Yep. In 9th place, down 1 spot, Trace Davis. Again, he didn't necessarily have the weekend he wanted to, but it was enough to kind of keep him in the in the mix and in the top 10, and he's all he's missing is getting putts to drop. He is burning edges left and right the last 2 rounds I've played with him. Once he makes a couple of putts, we're all in trouble. Number 8, making an appearance back to the top 10, fell out of it for a week or two there. Dakota Albers puts up a pretty good weekend. I think he was finished in net 3rd, something like that. And Jeremy Jaramillo would like us to just call out he is tied 10th. But
get those T's in there. Get those T's.
Want to be clear, there's a tie in 10th.
Okay.
This is actually because it's the first time. It's it feels like the first time in a while that there's a clear 1 through 10 on here. Usually there's ties and shit sitting in there, so it's kind of
Jeremy. I think Bird made this chart, Jeremy, and so he cut it off.
100%. That's a Bird chart. The big Bird.
That's what
chart.
I'm going to say anyway.
In 7th place, up 6, said we'd see his name again, Jermaine Bowen.
Look at that. I mean, he's got 2 blanks there.
And that's what I was about to say.
Shot at Cedar. I mean, that is just.
That's just crazy too. I mean, we were all sitting there and really giving Bird a lot of credit for missing one event and being in the top 10. Jermaine Bowen, to be in the top 10, to be in the top 10 with 2 missed events, but I mean, look at what he did. He won the opening 2-person event on the gross side. He put up, he got 150 stroke play at Brack, winning at Brack, got 2nd place at Willow, wins again at Cedar. I mean, those are things that you have to do, and we brought it up before. We've said it before. It is such an intense time in the tour where you can win 4 events and you're still grinding to be in the top 10.
Yeah, listen, it's tough to be on this list missing 1 event, let alone 2 events. So that number 1, that's just a testament to the field and how strong the field is week after week. But number 2, it's a testament to Jermaine Bowen and how well he is playing right now, especially his last 3 events. I mean, look at that. He's peaking at the right time. What do they say in the NFL, right? You want to peak going into the playoffs. Same thing like this. Jermaine is peaking going into the Open. It's exactly what you got to do. So we'll see.
Yep.
We'll see if he can hold on to it. Keep it up.
Yep. In 6th, staying in 6th place, Willie Nichols, putting up a good round, got 90 points in, 780 points, staying steady in 6th place. Willie is already on the team. His position in the top 10 obviously means a lot going into the playoffs. It means a lot as we go into the PC Open and a chance to potentially do something big and finish in the top 3 again. But Willie,
Player of the year, pretty damn strong contender for that position right now. So shout out to Willie, playing really strong golf. He's playing consistent golf. And I think that's one of the biggest keys here is, you want to peak at the right time, but you want to also be playing consistent. Even those events that you're not necessarily going to win, you still want to be up in that mix. And that's something he's done pretty well. He's finishing in the top 4, top 5 on everything. And that's where you need to be. In 5th place, down 2 spots, Greg Graff. Greg was a victim of Cedar this weekend, and didn't have the weekend he wanted, but he did drop a little bit, down 2 spots. But that being said, 795 points. He is only 45 points outside 3rd place. Right.
I mean, that's what it comes down to. He's not out of it. And there's a lot of points left
with
to
as
come
many points that are up for grabs, right? At Olmos, that's nothing. It's nothing.
Yep. Making his way into the top 10, maybe the first time this season. It looks potentially, or he might have fallen out for a week or 2 there. Chris Arnold up 8 spots, solo 4th at 800 points. Had a good start to the season at the 2-person. Stroke play at Willow. Put up a good number and then wins the weekend. That's good enough to get him up 8 spots. And that's, these last, you think about stroke play at Willow being a true double point. You think about Cedar being a tough event. These last 4 events of the season, you really have to show up. You have to play really well. These are the points that are going to help separate you and move you the fastest. And a lot of these guys on the list are peaking and doing the right things at the right time right now, which is great to see. Now we hit our top 3. So number 3, staying in 3rd place, Brad Gilbert, 840 points. Brad has been a absolute definition of consistency. He's typically staying in the money. He's playing really good golf. Again, I've played with him 2 of my last 3 rounds. He's right there. Once he gets to do what he wants to do on the course and avoid, a couple of the little things that happen to him, I mean, that dude is going to be he's going to be fun to watch at Olmos. He's going to be fun to watch in the playoffs. But congrats to Brad being in 3rd place going into the last event of the season.
You control your destiny. You control your destiny there, BG. That's right.
And being in the top 3 going into that last event is a tough feat in and of itself.
Heck yeah, it is.
So huge congrats to him. Don't worry about number 2. We don't care about him.
Talk about number 2, MD. You've been playing great all season, all year. Even going back a full calendar year, probably. So, I want to highlight that. I mean, look at the numbers there. Lots of wins, lots of cookies. You've racked it up. You talk about peaking, talk about consistency. I mean, you're peaking, you're playing consistent golf. Keep that up going into Olmos. Like I said, BG, you control your destiny, MD.
Yep. It's nice to see work paying off. That's all I got.
Good. It's great.
That's
great.
Makes me feel good.
That's great.
And finally, number 1, he has pretty much held this the entire season. It feels like Laz Gonzalez staying at number 1. Didn't have the weekend he wanted. I know he was looking for another win to try and to maybe completely pull away. And that's not to say where he's at right now doesn't necessarily give him a pretty damn good chance of making the team. But you look at that top 10. Everyone for the most part is within. I think everyone inside maybe the top 6 or 7. Really, really within striking distance. It almost is shaping up to be probably one of the most fun tournaments one of the most fun season finales we've had in a while. I know last year was really cool because we had Scotty Williams. We had a tie for 3rd for the first time in forever. That was really cool. I think this is going to be a really fun Olmos final. I think we're going to get a lot of players that we haven't seen in a while come out and play. They tend to come out of the shadows and back to the tour for these kinds of events. And everyone's fighting for points. Every point matters.
That's right.
And almost
Travis says it every Tuesday, right? Every point matters. And when you get down to this moment in the season, you really kind of start thinking back and, oh man, that one shot here, that one shot there. I mean, it really does make a difference. And when on this list, people making the team and missing the team, and looking down, making or missing the playoffs. So, grind it out every single shot, scramble, don't throw in the towel. They all matter.
At this point, the only thing I'm thinking about is where am I at that puts me in the best position for playoffs. I assume nothing. You can't assume that you have a spot on the team. You can't assume anything. Assume you're going to have to go earn it in the playoffs. Assume you're going to have to go earn it in the horse race. Like play like it's your last day.
Yeah.
Casey Graham crunching the numbers at the moment. Doing his best to give a mathematical probability to your success in making the team this summer season. Those numbers are always fun to see. I personally do not want him to tell me anything about what I need to do. I don't want to know. I just want to play golf. But there are people out there who do want to know. But congratulations to our top 10 guys. That's such a great.
Yep, congrats.
It's an incredible feat. It's a grind. The summer season, it's been a hot
The hard
summer.
work you've put in all year. That's right. Every one of these individuals have put in a lot of work. It's been MD, you said it. It's been a hot summer, and well deserved. Well deserved.
Yep. Excited for everybody in the top 10. The top 10 and the full leaderboard of point standings has been updated on the website, stxamtour.golf. That is live. That's up to date. Handicaps are being updated as well. The results page from this past weekend is being updated, or should be updated as well. But Cedar is complete. Cedar is not going to be mentioned again for a while. Now all eyes turn to Olmos Basin. It's going to be one of those big events. Tell me what you're thinking about Olmos. How do you feel about your chances at Olmos? How do you feel about Olmos in general?
I feel like something about that back nine at Olmos sometimes seems to always bite me. But I'm excited to get back out there. It seems like we haven't been out at Olmos in a while. Whereas it seemed like we lived out there last year in the summer season and on. So I'm excited to get back out there. Couple cool things about Olmos. I like both finishing. I mentioned earlier finishing on 18 to par 5. I like number 9 being par 5, 18 to par 5. But I love that tee shot on number 1, especially after the redesign when they kind of back that tee box up there off to the putting green, hit it through that chute there. I'm hoping. It's going to be
half the
Sunday.
Field on the putting green watching you.
I love it. It is great. So I'm probably looking forward to that tee shot more than anything.
Yeah, I was thinking about that today. I was thinking about Olmos because I haven't seen Olmos since the last time we played out there. And I'm gonna, I want to go practice. The tour setup committee will be out there, obviously, be out there next Friday. Myself and Travis are going to set up the course together. We haven't gotten to do that probably since the spring season that he and I actually went out and set up a course together. But I'm excited to get out there. The course is in amazing conditions. The greens are in great shape. They're just running slow, but we'll see those cut and rolled obviously before we get out there.
Oh yeah.
But Olmos is going to be, I think, just feel like we haven't played Olmos in a while, and I think that is such a fun course, and I think it's such a great course to have a 2-day event. It's a great venue. It's just a great time in general, and the stakes are as high as they're going to be. It is, and we have early prediction. Top 31 mathematically still make South Texas match play team. And that's
with a
0.0001%
chance. No.
Well, I mean, you have a 0.02% chance of making the team to begin with in the season. So it's, so you're saying there's a chance. But Olmos is going to be a lot of fun. I think that golf course, I think just, again, the talent that is on this tour, you have these golfers. I mean, back in the day, it used to be one of those things like when you think about Cedar, like, oh, I just play hybrids and irons at Cedar. I don't want to hit driver. And now it's like most of the field is like, no fear, I'm ripping drivers all day.
Yeah.
And everyone's bombing driver now. Everyone, I can't wait to watch Scotty Williams tear the shit up out at Olmos with his driver.
So Scotty Williams is in the clubhouse after Cedar. We're standing there, and someone we're talking, and maybe it was Jason Bird and Scotty Williams. We're talking about number 11, back 9 down at the bottom, And Scotty says, "Yeah, I walk up to the tee box there, and I'm like, man, I don't know if I should hit 3-wood or driver. I think I can hit driver over the green." He said, "It's only 285 from the white tees." And I looked over at Jason Bird and I said, "Only 285 from the white tees."
I mean,
so and he said he got it there. He said he hit it in the trees off to the right or whatever. But yeah, Scotty Williams bombing the paradigm right now. He loves it.
I said it in Missouri. I was like, dude, You should have had a heart attack like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I mean, that dude is
bombing it.
How?
Yeah.
I mean, it's so stupid. It's so stupid. Like, watching him hit a driver is one of my favorite things, just because you just don't expect string beans Scotty Williams to fucking just pound it like that.
Yeah, it's 285. It's 285. He said, I think I need to hit 3-wood. I don't want to go long. I mean, listen, when you feel it, you feel it, you know?
When you feel it, you freaking feel it, and that dude feels it. But Olmos is going to be a lot of fun. It's one of those courses, again, I don't feel like we've seen Olmos in a while.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to get out there, excited to see everyone out there again. I'm going to make it a point to try and play next Friday, if not maybe take a day and come play it beforehand just to see it. Part of me doesn't want to go play practice rounds. I don't normally go play golf. I usually just practice before a tournament. But this is one of those courses that, one, is fun to play, and two, I would actually like to see it before I have to go play it. And famously, you can't win the tournament on day one, but you can sure shit lose it.
That's right. There was a 2-day tournament I used to play in Pennsylvania. It was called the Newcastle News Tournament, and they cut it after Saturday. It was a Saturday and Sunday tournament. There was a cut after Saturday, and there was a smart ass out at the golf. There was a bunch of smart asses out there, and he told one of the kids, he said, make sure to wear your best shirt on Saturday. He tells them, make sure to wear your best shirt Saturday. I mean, that plays over in my head over and over again. I love it. So anytime I see a 2-day tournament, you're right, though. It's right. You can't win it on Saturday, MD, but you can get yourself in a bind and pretty much fall out of it.
And I do want to also, I know we were talking about who comes out of the woodwork to come play in these tournaments, I do want to take a moment to shout out a couple of our friends on the tour here, specifically Dustin Weldon and Jason Sandoval. They will not be participating at the PC Open because both of them have secured a spot at the Texas Mid-Am that weekend in Midland. So big congrats to those guys representing
Congratulations.
the tour, and playing the Texas Mid-Am. So best of luck to those guys as well. Really, really excited for them. We're going to miss them.
We'll be rooting for you. We'll be rooting for you.
We will be watching their scores while we are out on the course playing. And then almost, and then comes the playoffs. I wanted to pull up this breakdown of the playoffs real quick.
Oh yeah.
So we have obviously almost next weekend, and we'll get a little break. We're gonna get a 2-week break. Everyone's gonna get some time to kind of calm down a little bit, figure out where they're at in standings, get their practice in, and the top 100 summer and spring will join us on Saturday, October 14th, Northern Hills, for the first round of the playoffs. For those of you who don't know how the playoffs work or who haven't played in the playoffs before, we're going to start off with about 100 players, and each day we're going to have a cut. So day one, we're going to have 100. Next day at Northern, go out and play again. That's Sunday, October 15th. After Saturday, we're going to cut it to 72. After Sunday, we'll cut it to the top 54, and those top 54 will make their way to BRAC the following weekend. And
that's when it gets real, MD. When you get to that top 54, that's when it gets a little real. You know, I like to think that, we're all pretty friendly on the golf course. Regular season, we really, everyone chit-chat and good luck. But you get to that round 3 of the playoffs, top 54, especially that Tour Champion top 36, but really that round 54, the chatter starts to die down a little bit. Chatter starts to die down. You don't hear too many people saying, good luck, man, go play well. Maybe it's just kind of, a little softer in the tone, but yeah, buddy.
Not as many good shots or and it's, and this is, and I mean, we have talked about it, and I apologize. I'm going to apologize right now to Casey Graham because I know he doesn't want to think about it. But when we say every point matters, Casey missed the last day of playoffs by half a point. Mm-hmm. every point matters.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why when you guys, even if you're in looking at Olmos, for example, I'm not in the top 50 or I'm in 50th position right now. Playing this tournament, earning points, going into the playoffs, if you make, you're going to get points for finishing in the top 50 in the summer season or spring season. You're going to make additional points if you finished in both seasons and bonus on top of that. There is a lot on the line. Every single point matters. You can't stress it enough. And where it becomes more important than ever is when you get to that top 54. And
I think that's a cool dynamic. I love it. And then of course, the best part of the playoffs, Travis will tell you, is that horse race, that final hour and a half, whatever it boils down to.
It is the most fun hour in golf
if
you don't have to play in it.
As long as you're not participating, it is
great. As long as if you're on the team and you're just going for a walk, or if you're already out of it and you're just going for a walk, it's perfectly fine.
Probably the most nerve-wracking hour, right? If you're a participant, that you'll have all year.
Yes,
but a really cool moment. I think that's a really good addition. That horse race. I think 2018 was the first year of the horse race, won by Jason Cross. On the first hole. I think since then we've gone at least 3-4 holes.
We got 2 or 3 holes in last year. Geez,
we went
Chris
4.
Espinoza draining some putts there.
Yeah,
just absolutely scaring everybody.
Really cool hour in golf. Really cool hour. Looking forward to that.
Yep, and to that end too, people who are in the horse race are typically, they're in the top couple of spots there at the end of the playoffs. But you earn one spot in the horse race. We also talk about the point standings playoff spot too, the most combined points for the season as well, or for the year as well. Earns a spot. So that's another big selling point to go get every point that you can. That one event that you missed, or that one spot that you missed, might be the difference between you making the team in most points, or it might be the difference between you ending up in the horse race fighting for that spot. But we'll have a lot more to talk about next week. Casey Graham is going to get us all of his predictions. This is like Christmas for Casey. It's that time of year where he gets to go and start crunching numbers and making his
our own
predictions.
Actuary.
Mm-hmm. And that dude, that dude loves to make his predictions, and I mean, he gets it right a lot. Casey is a walking just encyclopedia of tour history, and no one spends more time looking at the numbers than he does, and he can figure some stuff out. He goes Rain Man on it pretty hard. So look for that next week. We'll do a deeper dive into Olmos next week. We'll have more pictures and more breakdown of the golf course. Travis will be back. We're going to get a chance to talk a little bit more about course setup and what to kind of expect there. Talk more about the playoffs. We'll look at that top 10 and maybe that top 20 and see some of Casey's predictions, as well as talk almost scoring predictions. You think it's okay, it's the end of the season, we're slowing down, but by God, it's about to pick up in a big way.
That's right. There's one tournament left in the summer season, but it's about to pick up. That's right. That's a great way of putting it.
But guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Huge shout out to all of our winners from Cedar. Shout out to Cedar in general.
Yes.
Congrats
Maintenance
on getting
crew,
that golf course.
Phenomenal job.
Hell of a way to send off the tour. We are ecstatic to see what they get done over the next year, and excited to get back out to Cedar in 2025. Excited to get back to Riverside next year. But for now, that is it for Cedar for us. But what a fantastic event to finish on at Cedar, and we're gonna miss it next year. But we are not done yet. There's lots of golf to be played. Olmos is less than 2 weeks away. That is going to be one of the crazier weekends of the year. And then we get to go into the playoffs and have two more crazy back-to-back weekends. Such is the tour. And then before you know it, we're in Houston.
Yep.
So going to be, let's bring that sucker home. It's going to be a good year. Casey Graham commenting. I don't want to pull it up. Well, I'll pull it up. Let's not worry about it. So he's going with Jeremy with a gross jacket win. Needs 4, 5, 6, and 7 to not win that jacket. And Brad Gilbert must finish second net or worse. Okay.
Little quick math there by Casey Graham.
Quick math.
Man says it, the man says it.
Man says it, the man says it. But I'll tell you, it's a freaking golf tournament. Treat it like a normal golf tournament. Don't worry about it. Don't overthink it. And that's all there is to it. And that coming from me should tell you everything you need to know. Don't overthink it. As the leader of the overthinking team.
I'm not only the overthinking team leader, but I'm also the president.
I am the president of the rage golfers, the overthinkers, self-deprecators. There's
just another round of golf, right?
It's just another round of golf. And you know what? It's going to be freaking beautiful weather.
Yeah.
Yes. Early predictions show it in the high 80s. Looking at which is going to be great, nice and sunny. I'll be honest, and I really quick here before we get off the air, Dustin. I know you and I regretted doing it last year, walking day one at Olmos. Are you considering taking a walk this year?
If I'd like to walk both days. I'm not in a position to where I'm going to qualify for the team first, second, or third. I'm not sitting in a position where I'm thinking that, I really need to go and grind day one and day two. But then you're thinking too, we've been talking all about, for the last 30 minutes, every point matters. So I don't know. I'd like to walk both days. Will I walk one? Absolutely. I will walk at least one day. I wouldn't quite bet yet that I'd walk both.
Okay. I was thinking about this today because I try and, especially after a golf tournament, I try not to touch my clubs for at least 4 or 5 days. I don't try and swing a club for 4 or 5 days. I went to I sat on the putting green for 2 hours today, but I'm not going to go swing. But I like to go walk. I usually walk for about an hour and a half, 2 hours every afternoon, just walk the neighborhood and, keep a good pace. And I was sitting there thinking to myself, I'm like, I might actually try and walk if the weather's okay. At the very least, I think it'll also kind of come down to, and I think a lot of people are like that, where I'm at in the position going into Sunday. If I play like trash on Saturday, I'm probably going to sit in the cart on Sunday too. But if I have a good Saturday, I might want to walk, just for the sake of pace of play and just to kind of keep myself in my own little mental bubble.
Yeah. That's a good way
we are looking to have a really great weekend at Olmos. If you are not signed up for that yet, be sure to get registered. Spots are going to fill up quick. This is one of those events, like I said earlier, you're going to see a lot of names. I think specifically a lot more names in Champ Flight than have been seen this season. A lot of those guys, this is where they make the appearance. This is, again, people want to come out and see if we can get a course record going. I believe 68 is the current course record, tour record.
And people want their name on the jacket, MD. Let's be real. People want their name on the jacket.
That is the other big piece of it too. We didn't really talk a lot about it, but getting your name on the jacket, being a part of that tour history, that tour legacy, that's a pretty big thing, a pretty big deal. There are going to be 2 people come next Sunday that are going to be hoisting the jacket, hoisting the trophy, and securing a spot in tour history. So nothing but fun, exciting things happening around the tour right now. Get signed up for this tournament ASAP if you have not already. come next week, we are in full PC Open mode, and I mean, it really, really next week kicks off about a month stretch of a lot of intense golf. And it's no better time of year.
Prep
I'm
prep
excited.
now, get it in. You're right. I mean, this is it. It's crunch time. This is where it counts now. So let's bring it.
Absolutely. Well, Dustin, DH, my friend, Dustin,
my man,
thank you for hanging out. Everyone out there watching us, thank you for joining us tonight. We are here for you guys. We are here because we love the tour. We love everything about it, and we love getting to talk about it with you guys. We appreciate everyone commenting, everyone following us on Facebook, everyone sharing our stuff on Facebook, showing up to tournaments. You guys are the reason why we do what we do and why we love this tour. Get some practice in, have a good weekend. Get ready for Olmos. Go practice. Go do what you need to do. We will see you guys here next Tuesday. Big show. Team will be in full force, and it's gonna be a really, really fun day, or a fun Tuesday show next week. And of course, we're gonna go into Friday to set up, Saturday to play. And Hassan needs 19 people to do stuff for him to make the team. Oh, and he has to win the brush. There you go.
Perfect. Sounds easily
just last minute numbers being crunched by Casey Graham.
Love it.
At home. Appreciate that, Casey.
Sleep on
guys,
that tonight.
thank you. Yes, sleep on that tonight. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. Have a great rest of your week. Have a great rest of your Tuesday night. We will see you back here next Tuesday. PC Open special. It's going to be great. DH, have a good night, buddy.
Thanks, y'all. Good night.
Good night, everyone.